Indonesia's numbers astound. 17,000 islands, 300 languages spoken. Yet it's all one country with myriad adventures. The world's fourth most populous country is a mesmerising place that runs along the equator for 5,000 kilometres. It is a land of so many cultures, people, animals, customs, artworks and foods that it is like 100 countries melded into one. Venturing through the islands of Indonesia, you'll see a land as diverse and surprising as the people who live in it. Recently one of the new 7 wonders of nature, Indonesia's best-known national park comprises several islands and some of the country's richest waters. Expect hulking mountainous islands blanketed in savanna, patrolled by the world's largest lizard, the Komodo dragon. One of Indonesia's greatest joys is hopping on a fast boat from busy Bali and arriving on one of the irresistible Gili Islands. Enjoying a Balinese dance performance is a highlight of a visit to Bali. Swept up in the spectacle, you'll soon understand why Balinese culture is among the world's most rich and textured. Life revolves around death in this land of fascinating funeral rites, boat-shaped homes and doe-eyed buffalo. Welcome to the triathlon of adventure travel. Start on the east coast of Borneo, the world's 3rd largest island, and travel hundreds of kilometres upriver to the heart of a fabled jungle. Trek through it like explorers of old, then head downriver to the west coast via a thrilling whitewater canoe trip. High season runs July through August. Visit in the winter or spring to find deals and the freedom to explore without the crowds. Travel costs in Indonesia can range from less than 300,000 rupiah a day, if you enjoy a simple room and cheap street meals, to over 1.3 million rupiah a day for a resort and special tours. Planes, some trains, boats, ferries, buses of all sizes, and cars with drivers will get you across the archipelago. From the western tip of Sumatra to the eastern edge of Papua, Indonesia offers endless exploration and infinite diversity. This unique land may well be the last great adventure on Earth.
Good morning, teacher. Good morning, fellow students. With only 5 countries including Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand, ASEAN, or Association of Southeast Asian Nations, was formed in 1967 in Bangkok, Thailand. The group of countries continues to expand and has included Brunei, Vietnam, Laos, Myanmar, and Cambodia in the later years. In 2009, English became the de facto lingua franca of ASEAN, being colonized of Britain and the United States of America. Most countries in the ASEAN has retained English in a good standing. Scholars have criticized the use of English as medium of education during the early year in school. A study by Kirkpatrick in 2012 discussed the different instruction policies among ASEAN countries. In the both Philippines and Brunei, the English language is presently used as the medium of instruction for subjects such as science and mathematics. This setup begins from the first year of primary school. Likewise, Malaysia has the same policy since 2002. On the other hand, Singapore mandated English to be the medium of instruction for all subjects. In Myanmar, however, English is taught as a subject in primary schools. Let's have a more in-depth look in the English language policies of the ASEAN group of countries.
Good day everyone, so my name is Charles F. Bialba. So I am here today to give some brief informations about language programs and policies of Indonesia. So it is mandated by the Indonesian government law that children should attend formal education from the ages between 2 years old to 15 years old. As young as 2 years old, children attend school as kindergartens or nurseries. These schools are run mostly by private sectors. Indonesia has two main systems in education. It is the school education and the informal education. The Department of Education has recognized challenges in the education system of the country. Over the past years, the number of educated people is still low. So there is no such changes in any educational status of the Indonesian countries. Moreover, the quality of education itself is on bottom rocks. These gaps are identified among these east and west part of Indonesian countries. Researchers believe that the gaps are in the quality and quantity of education. It was also noted that there were gaps between rural and urban schools as well. In a blog article by Kamal 2009, he elaborated that students attend primary schools for 6 years, 3 years in junior secondary school, and another 3 years for the senior secondary school. Based on the 1994 curriculum, 7 subjects offered for the first up to second year in school of students. However, students will have to study 9 subjects on the remaining years from their third to sixth year. The subjects are as follows: Arts, Paskasila, and Citizenship, Indonesia, Mathematics, Physics, Religion, Social, Sciences, Sports, Local component. Local component includes local language, dance, arts, and English. At the end of the school year, students have to take the national exam in order to continue to the higher education level. English becomes more compulsory and more reinforced by this time students enter junior secondary school, which ages from 12 to 14 and 15 years old. So English here is the main use in schooling when you are in the junior secondary school up to senior and secondary school.
In senior secondary school, students are expected to expand all the knowledge that they have acquired from the previous years of studying. They are also expected to take the national exam to get the next level. The last phase is the tertiary education. In here, students are being prepared to achieve good academic and professional skills. After the country gained independence, the government declared English language teaching as one of the compulsory subjects in the schools. The first two curriculum used were the grammar, translation, and audio-lingual-based curriculum. Most teachers preferred grammar translation according to them. It is more effective for classes with bigger population. In addition, this curriculum is cheap and only grammatical mastery of the target language is required to pass it. It was during the 1950s that English became the main language used by the students when they were inside the campus. The curriculum received commendations, and English was part of it. The audiolingual curriculum obligatory use new series of textbook for both junior and senior school. Jazadi 2004 argued that the audiolingual curriculum of 1975 has not been a success because the curriculum did not support the achievement of the learning objectives. Because of this, a new curriculum that encouraged communication for both receptive and productive was subjected to be introduced in system
Good day everyone, I am Caitlin Faragalan. So for today's video, I am going to tackle about the differences of language policies and programs in Indonesia and Philippines. Okay, number 1. Based on the language of instruction policy of each of the ASEAN member states, what language or languages can be used in ESL classes in the elementary, secondary, and tertiary levels? In Indonesia, English can be used for ESL class in primary. English then became compulsory during secondary and tertiary school, while in the Philippines, in public schools, English is the medium of instruction for all subjects except Filipino and Civic at Cultura for grades 4 and above. Mother tongue is used as medium of instruction for grades 1 and 3, while in private schools, all subjects across levels are mostly taught in English except Filipino subjects. Number 2. At what age should the learners be exposed to English? In Indonesia, a debate has been going on among educators about the appropriate age to start teaching. While in the Philippines, in private school, the learners be exposed to English at the age of 3 to 5 years old, while in public, it is 9 years old. Number 3. At what grade level should English be introduced to the learners? In Indonesia, English is to be taught from the first year of junior high school but may be taught as early as primary 4 at the school's discretion. In Philippines, primary school as early as nursery, kindergarten in private schools, and grade 4 in public schools. Number 4. Based on the data gathered, is MTB-MLE a sound language of instruction policy? In Indonesia, not until junior secondary school or 6th year. In the Philippines, yes, from grade 1 to 3. Okay, last number. Is the language of instruction policy of each of the ASEAN member states in conformity with the theories of SLA? Yes, most of ASEAN countries, including the Philippines, but not Indonesia, because according to Kirkpatrick 2012, governments and parents holds to 3 tenets of language learning. Namely, first, the best way to learn a language is to use it as a medium of instruction. Second, to learn a second language, you must start as early as possible. And lastly, the home language gets in the new way of learning of a second language based on Benson 2008. Additionally, Philippines use English as their official international language, which give benefits economically, educationally, and scientifically. Meanwhile, Indonesia does not use English as an essential official international language in its policy. As a result, most Indonesians cannot master English, which give disadvantages for the development of the country in the global world. The issues that are necessary to be reconsidered by Indonesian policymakers are how important international language like English can be inserted more precisely, especially in education, so that Indonesians can compete globally together with other nations. Then, besides having its national language, it should not be ignored that Indonesia has hundreds of vernaculars. So, it is important to not only improve the use of Bahasa Indonesia, but also preserve and promote vernaculars which represent cultural heritage of this country. Thank you.
In the Philippines, English has been used in education and function as the main language of government and the mass media. However, Filipino and English are used as official language for the purpose of communication and instruction. In Indonesia, Malay or Bahasa Indonesia has been used as their national language. However, English language does not play an important role in society in Indonesia. As a result, Indonesians cannot master English, which give disadvantages for the development of their country in the global world. In conclusion, Philippines use as their official international language, which gives benefits economically, educationally, and scientifically. Meanwhile, Indonesia does not use English as an essential official international language in its policy. Majority of the countries are using English as their medium of instruction during the primary grades, but only differs in the level. Some start as early as grade 1, while some start at grade 3 or even grade 7. Not everyone has adopted the mother tongue-based multilingual education like Singapore, which relies solely in the English language and use it as their first language. In some countries like the Philippines, Malaysia, and Brunei, though English is not introduced that early, other subjects like math and science are taught in English. Finally, with the upcoming integration, the ASEAN members are taking steps in improving their country's language policy, but not all countries are ready yet. Several factors are somewhat keeping these countries from moving farther.